this is Ellie. We're Tough Souls. We're walking all of Ireland's national North trails in case this is the very first video you've ever seen. We asked some questions the other day, or we asked for people to ask us questions the other day, and we're going to do a Q&A video, so here are the A's to some Q's. Ta-da! Ta-da! So, question number 1 is... which was the most demanding trail you've done, asks P Tool on Instagram. Well, so for me that's the Kerryaway, definitely. I had a moment on the Kerryaway where I just couldn't walk any further, so I just curled up on the ground and cried. I don't think that's necessarily the trail's fault. We, at that point, were almost completely out of money. We were doing that trail a day faster than necessary, so we were doing it in 8 days instead of 9 days, so we had to pack in a lot more days, or a lot more walking every day. We couldn't take a rest day, that kind of thing, because we didn't have any money, and it was just one of those situations where I was pretty wrecked, basically. I wouldn't say it's the trail's fault. The trail is kind of demanding, but it's not, it's not physically that difficult.
Mine was the Western Way. I was wearing boots that absolutely crucified me. I was eaten alive by midges. I was like, couldn't see the end of that trail. And it's not like the trail is particular, like, yeah, it's also a pretty tough trail, but it's not the trail that made it tough for me, I guess.
I wonder what the most physically demanding trail actually is. It might be the Kerryaway. The Kerryaway has like 3 or 4 days that are properly difficult.
Yeah.
Or the Dingleway. The Dingleway is basically...
Well, I guess I broke my foot on the Dingleway, so that might...
on a flat beach section.
Yeah, but that might be counted as physically demanding.
Well, that's okay. The Dublin Mountains Way is pretty demanding, but that's only if you're trying to do it in 1 day like we did. It is doable, it's about 50 kilometers, but there's not that many really, really challenging national landmark trails, I don't think. I would have a hard time deciding which one is, or like a hard time organising them in order of difficulty.
Duhallow is pretty...
yeah, the Duhallow. Yeah.
It starts in the middle of nowhere, and it's a long way through like forests and stuff, and then you end up crossing... what are the name of those mountains?
Okay, next. Michael Quinn, who we like very much, and you should check out his YouTube channel, Challenge Your Life. If you like our stuff, you're going to like his stuff. He asks, are you the first to walk all of the national landmark trails? As far as we know, we are, and if you have walked them all, please don't tell us until we're finished. We know of 1 or 2 people who've done like 20 of them, and we think that there's somebody who's coming up behind us. But as far as we know, we're the first people to walk them all.
Oh, we haven't walked them all yet.
Yes.
As you're filming this, you have 7 left.
Yeah,
so
that's
we
right.
will hopefully become the first people to walk them all.
Yeah, and because the list is a living list, at one point there were only 7 of these trails, and someone probably did walk them all back then.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I know, there's a guy called Michael Fewer. I think he probably has walked. If anybody has walked them all, probably him. But he's not through Europe. A lot of the books on his trails. But yeah, as far as we know, we're the first people to do it. It was one of the first things. Like, that is part of the reason that I decided to do this, because I assumed nobody had done them all. I couldn't find any details about anybody having done them all, and it seemed like an achievable goal to be the first person to do it. And I'm definitely going to trip Ellie up on the last 100 meters so that I can cross the finish line first. Susan Lanigan asks, are there a lot of dogs hassling you on the Avonview Way? But I suppose we can talk about dogs in general. I think Tipperary had the highest number of dogs in general.
But it also is a county of one of the highest number of trails.
Yes, right. So maybe it's just going to spend more time there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It demands a study. I don't know, I only remember maybe 2 or 3 incidents where we had like dogs kind of chase after us.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. No, I think we've also probably been quite lucky, but in general we haven't really had any dog problems. Yeah, I remember walking past a farmhouse once and a dog running out, but like perfectly silent, and then that was what was really scary. So we didn't notice it running up behind us until it was like right behind us, not looking very happy.
Yeah, that's what we always get really is sheepdogs trying to hurt us. But it's honestly it's very rare. We almost never see it. And if you have hiking poles, you'll be fine. I don't think it's a huge deal. This question came out of us sharing the account Trig Point Dogs on Instagram, which you should check out because it's dogs on top of trig points.
Oh, I didn't know that was the reasoning.
Yeah, and I mean, what more could you possibly want, really? So if you are taking your dog out on the Irish countryside, make sure that it's okay with the landowner first. Hashtag leave no trace. Tara asks, where in the world would you most like to hike?
Well, my answer is easy.
It's New Zealand, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Ireland. It is way better than I ever gave it credit for, and I think Irish people have a habit of thinking that Ireland is no good. So.
No, I think Ireland is
but
fantastic. I think Ireland is fantastic. I've loved all of my hiking here.
Just wants
First,
to go to New Zealand.
I just want to go to New Zealand.
Yeah, they have a lot of really long distance trails in New Zealand that sound pretty cool.
Yeah.
I also would love to do like a few of the GRs across Europe, or even the E-routes in Europe. That's just a convenience thing because we're both EU citizens. It would be really easy for us to do those things, as opposed to going to the States and doing the Appalachian Trail or something like that, because you have to get visas and it takes 6 months and all kind of frustrating paperwork. I hear a lot of good things about Scandinavia. I've heard Corsica is really there's a GR on Corsica. That's high up on the list for, and things like the Tour de Mont Blanc also looks amazing.
I've also never been to Scotland.
Yeah,
So
Scotland. I think the answer is basically anywhere. Next question. Patch asks, how are you guys funding the trails, and what do you guys eat / how do you plan your meals?
I recently wrote a blog post called The Tough Souls Menu, which goes through our wonderful eating, and by that I actually mean really terrible eating habits. We live on a lot of carbohydrates while we're hiking. We just eat a lot of fruitcake and bread and some like cured meats like chorizo or wine gums, bananas. Although actually we stopped eating bananas at one point because somebody told us that they attract midges. So we actually stopped eating bananas for a while. I don't know if that actually proved true or not. We drink a lot of Lucozade and Baraka, and we stop and have coffee whenever we find it.
Yeah, Baraka is actually a really good tip, I think. So we live basically on coffee, but the thing about coffee is that you need hot water to make it, and then you need to have a stove. So Baraka has caffeine in it. It's about the same as an actual cup of coffee, so it's a good stand-in. Yeah, I've had 2 today. He also asked, how are you guys funding the walks? And the answer to that is mostly our wonderful, amazing patrons on patreon.com/toughsouls.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Patreon is a crowdfunding platform where people pledge to give us $1 or $100 or anywhere in between.
I mean, do that if you want.
A month, and
at the moment we have 34 people on there who are really helping us out. So a huge thank you to all of you.
Yes.
We also fund it by just saving money on the off season, basically.
For the past 2 years, it's kind of been walk for 6 months, work for 6 months. That's kind of been the rough schedule.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. But primarily Patreon. Thank you, patrons. You're amazing.
Yes.
Speaking of patrons, we got a question on Patreon actually. Peter Clark, have you considered a gimbal so you can have stabilized video of walking on the trails? Perhaps even replacing the drone? Actually, I think if we had really thought about it, maybe we would have originally gone for a gimbal rather than a drone.
Well, I think actually when we started, gimbals were only just starting to become a thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I think like it's 2 years down the road now, so I think there are better quality gimbals available. When we started though, they were just like, it wasn't even just the money aspect of how much it costs. It was very large and heavy. It was actually like bigger and heavier than bringing a drone with us. And I think the battery on them is still pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
I would love to get one. I would really love to have one.
Yeah.
But I don't know how feasible it would be for
us now.
Yeah, at the moment. Yeah. I think a very, very good alternative is if you have just a camera with really good stabilization and a selfie stick. It's like if you're looking for that kind of thing, I think that can actually do a really good job if you kind of practice and get it right. My camera doesn't have stabilization at all, or at least it doesn't with the lens I use, so that's why everything is so shaky and wobbly, and I apologise for any seasickness or trail sickness I cause.
Yeah. I really like having the drone because I like getting some of those shots that maybe nobody has ever seen before. In some cases, we'll be the first people to ever see this tomb from the air or something, which I think is really interesting.
As time goes by, I am a little bit less comfortable with the drone. It's an amazing piece of equipment and everything, but it definitely impacts wildlife quite a lot, especially with just how prevalent they are. Like, so many people have them now. I feel very like I want to leave the wildlife alone and let it have its beautiful spaces. We have bought new propellers that do make it quieter, but it's still not natural, and I do worry about the impact that has.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. It's also hard for us to take half an hour out of our day to sit there and fly the drone. It's it's a lot of time. But then the shots are often really great looking, and it's a lot of fun to fly. So in short, yes, we would like a gimbal, but we probably won't manage to have one before the end of the trails. Next, Simon OMD asks, I do wonder how you manage toileting and washing when you're hiking for a few days. I cycled across France last summer as I went, camping as I went, but I had showers and toilets at campsites. Only one night I couldn't wash and it felt horrible with a day's sweat on me and hated the feeling of being in my sleeping bag unwashed. What do you guys do? The answer to this is basically we're just kind of gross a lot of the time.
At the beginning, I did have baby wipes and I'd wipe off the grossness, but as time went on, we just kind of got used to feeling really, really gross.
Yeah. It's just, because we thru hike all of this a lot of the time, it's just, we can't avoid it basically. We just feel disgusting all of the time.
But baby wipes are really useful. You just have an extra. You have an extra zip bag. To throw those out in. Luckily enough in Ireland, toilets wise, we do pass through a town of some description nearly every day. So you can normally find a bathroom for number twos.
And Ellie's written a great blog post about periods in the outdoors, which you should check out.
Yes.
Because it's also related.
Yes, it is.
So the answer basically is we're just kind of disgusting a lot of the time. I don't feel like I have any tips about this really.
I use dry shampoo every now and again. And typically would stay somewhere that has a shower every 3 or 4 days, be it a campsite or a hostel or a B&B or something.
Yeah, we probably don't hike. I wouldn't say that we've ever camped more than 5 days in a row. It's true. We actually did have a day where we counted.
We've done 7 days in a row.
7 days in a row, yeah. I find it's really helpful to have, if you don't like the feeling of your sleeping bag against kind of sweaty skin, if you have a merino base layer that you can put on at night, between your skin and the sleeping bag. That does help a lot.
Or you get a sleeping bag liner. You get a cotton liner for the inside of your bag, so that I actually had a silk one when we started, with the idea that I then wouldn't have to wash my sleeping bag as much. I would just wash the liner, so the sleeping bag wouldn't get quite so gross. I did give up on that eventually. It was just one more thing that I'd have to do at night, and I was just too lazy, too tired,
Too efficient.
to want to have to add another step to the process. But that is definitely a really, really useful reason to use a sleeping bag liner.
Next, Walking in the Air, who you should also follow. Or I guess it's Walking in the Air, but I can never, for whatever reason, I have a hard time reading the. Anyway, she asks, will you plan any exhibition with the best pictures you took while walking around Ireland?
Well, I'm doing a master's at the moment that is based on the premise of walking and experiencing the outdoors and the strong associations between the Irish landscape and people's sense of identity and connection.
And it is a master's by research in photography.
Yes.
So probably, I think is the answer.
Yeah, certainly if it's not part of my master's, I would love to create an exhibition or some books around all that we've done in the past 2 years. Definitely.
Yeah, stay tuned for those, I think.
Yes.
JGKG Adventures asks, what was the best and most difficult stretches of the Kerryway? Yeah, a lot of people were really interested in the Kerryway. It's a good trail. Most difficult?
Carson to Waterville was just longer than we expected. It's a very boggy section and we happened to be there when it was very wet, so it just made going really, really slow. So it just took us a long time to get through it. It's one of the bigger days, or possibly biggest day on the whole trail. So that took us quite a while.
Yeah.
Best sections though, there is...
Oh man, there's that bit, right, we're talking about the same bit for sure. Where you're suddenly walking through Lord of the Rings territory.
Yes, that was from Glencar to Glenbeigh. But even the first just the first couple of days are really, really beautiful, like phenomenal. And then also from Cahersardine to Caherdaniel is also really, really nice. It has that same kind of Lord of the Rings, like deciduous forests that are just dappled sunlight and moss and beautiful little bridges and
honestly, the whole trail is very, very good.
Yeah.
And you should, if you haven't already, we have a blog post. We have 3 blog posts.
2 blog posts.
2 blog posts and 3 videos about the Kerryway that are worth checking out. Next, we have Peter Walker asks, "What is Ireland's wettest waymark trail?" And I actually did a bit of research on this and actually found this out. So the wettest national waymark trail last year was the Dingle Way, then the North Kerryway, and then the Kerryway. And the rest of the list is on screen now. Because I can't remember them all, and I didn't bring my laptop. I did a bit of analysis on it just for the fun of it. So yeah, the trails in Kerry are the wettest.
I think for us though, our wettest trail was
one of the ones in Donegal for definite. Finna, yeah.
We had to take a day off because
it was too wet. It was too rainy.
Was it like Storm Declan or
something
Storm
like
Hector?
That. Yeah, something like that.
Storm Hector, something along those lines. Yeah. So it was just you couldn't see, the rain was so bad. Yeah,
it was a very, very wet trail for us, and we'd actually put off going to Donegal for ages. We went to go up to Donegal literally the first thing. But then you got to get the weather right when you go up there. You don't have to. You just have to be prepared for the weather to be terrible.
Well, no, I think we were definitely super lucky. 4 out of the 5 trails that we did there, we did it in
dry,
beautiful sunshine.
Yeah.
And compared to people who I've met who have been there when it's only raining, it's a different county. It's a different country. It's a different world when you get the right weather or the wrong weather.
And that's not to Donegal has fantastic trails and
Oh,
it's a really amazing place to go.
Possibly my favourite place in Ireland.
Yeah. Yeah, and just because the weather can sometimes be bad doesn't mean that you shouldn't go there.
No. Just if you have a bad experience of it, go back when it's dry.
Yeah. Sharon Noble asking, how many days does the sheep's head take? I forget. 8 days, 9 days? We have a question from Sarah. How do you manage to stay so healthy when you walk? You guys must be the fittest people ever. We are absolutely not the fittest people ever. We aren't even remotely close to the fittest people ever. Walking is way more about willpower than it is about fitness.
We have said that a lot, and I definitely stand by it. It's definitely a super approachable activity. I wouldn't say go from having done nothing at all to trying to walk the Kerry Way. There's definitely a build-up, but I think it is an incredibly approachable activity. There are things like the National Looped Walks, which are all roughly not all 5 kilometres, but they're in that range.
Yeah.
So they're short day walks that you can go out and do, and are absolutely beautiful. We've come across them because they often intersect with the most beautiful sections of the trails that we're doing. So if you're looking to kind of build up towards more walking,
those are really worth doing.
Yeah.
And stay tuned for some more information about those trails, because it is really hard to find some, and we were like, oh, maybe we can solve this problem. So we'll see.
But as for I think we're just lucky to have been half fit to start with, and we just kind of kept going at that very mediocrely low level. And have used a lot of stubbornness to get us this far.
I mean, a part of it is that we just don't have enough money to eat as much food as we would like when we're walking. I mean, if we had loads of money, I would easily spend €100 on a meal every evening, because you get super hungry. But yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, I think in general, like, how do we stay so healthy when we walk is just pure luck, because we shouldn't.
Yes.
With the amount of fruitcake and stuff, we really. I think we only outwardly look healthy, but I'm sure inside I'm like just a rotten tooth the whole way through.
There are days where I just dream of spinach, just fresh spinach when we're walking.
So sad. And the final question, which I've left last on purpose, is why are you so awesome? That's Liv asking that question. And it's just because we're class, just not a lot to it.
Everything's just so cool when you're part of the team. Everything is awesome.
And then she follows that up with, no, but seriously, where do you get the resilience from? That's just kind of one of those things, because we saw this list and it's like, okay, well, we might as well be the first people to do it, and it's just one of those things that it's easy to continue once you've started.
I think having a second person makes all the difference for this project. When you're having your worst day, they can kind of stand there and slowly nudge you forwards.
Come on! Yeah, it does really, really help to have another person. But also, it helps a lot because we cut our ties normally, we don't have a place to go back to, or anything like we didn't the times we've done this. So it's not like we can just hop on a bus and go back to our apartment, because we don't have an apartment. Do you know what I mean? That helps me, knowing that there's no kind of real safety net, that I can't just head home and sit around.
Well, we can head to our parents' houses, which we have done.
Yeah, which we have
as
done. That's true.
Places to recover.
That's true.
Or if we need multiple days off after whatever amount of walking we've done. So I think it's a balance of.
We also just don't show. Often we just don't film the times when we feel really crap.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to film.
It's difficult for us to do that, actually, because as much as we want to do this more as a documentary than as the kind of a YouTube-y everything's positive thing, it's just really difficult sometimes to actually, when someone's having a really bad time, to grab the camera and to film them doing that. So I think a lot of the time it just doesn't show up. Um, that's not to say that we're not super resilient and awesome, because we are. It's just, I wouldn't, don't think that we're not human.
Yeah.
I guess.
Um,
And on that uplifting note, that's the questions that we've got. We actually have another question from George Outdoors, who asks, I was wondering if you guys. Oh, his question actually. He says maybe too late, and it's funny because we're at the end of the thing. Maybe too late, but I was wondering if you guys can talk a little bit about your climbing. So for me personally, I am a climber first, and then a walker like distant second. Ellie and I are both boulders, both indoor boulders too, so the worst kind of climber. If you see us, we climb in gravity pretty much all the time. So gravity in Dublin. So if you're ever there, you should just give us a shout. We're happy to give you a high five, or a fist bump, considering that we're boulders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's how we met. Climbing, and it's just a really, really enjoyable sport. Everyone's super friendly.
It's one of those things where it's not a team sport, but there's a huge sense of community.
Yes.
It's really, really a great sport. Definitely worth checking out. Our first adventure actually was a climbing adventure. We lived in a tent in Fontainebleau in France, which is a big climbing area for, I forget exactly the length of time, 4 months?
You were there longer than I was. I broke my foot.
Do you begin to feel like it was just an excuse? I kind of think it might have been. Yeah, so that was our very first thing that we did actually, and it was only like 2 months after we'd met, so.
So yeah, I guess I've been climbing for 6 years.
And I think I've been climbing since 2011.
Maybe 7.
Yeah. 8. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a good sport. I changed my life, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody.
Yeah.
So stay tuned when we finish the trails. This is going to turn into a climbing YouTube channel. It is not. We're not sure what we're going to do next, but probably won't be climbing videos.
I would like to climb for a bit.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, I guess that's that.
Yeah.
Will we do a slow motion high five?
Well, no, so one question that we have been asked like countless times recently that wasn't actually asked in our questions, but we have been asked in person by everybody we meet is, so when are you going back walking?
Oh, right. Oh, okay. I was like, what question? Yeah, people do ask us when we're going back walking, and it's really soon. Hopefully, the end of April.
Yes.
We've only got 7 trails left, so it's only about 40 days of walking. So we're really excited to get back and to finish it. It's going to be a bit tight for us this time. We have less money this time than we ever had before. So it's going to be a bit of a tricky balance, I think. But I'm
you
really,
sound like
really excited
the third sequel, like less of this, less of that. It's more on the edge.
Yeah, right. It's more extreme. It's the gritty reboot of Tough Souls. Instead of eating fruitcake, we're there just eating like charcoal or something. Yeah, end of next month. End of April.
Yes.
Really excited. Can't wait. Yeah, can't wait at all. It's every time we go outside now, it's like this weather is perfect. So we're really, really excited.
Yeah, and between now and then we'll probably make 1 or 2 videos on preparation and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, any people from YouTube have questions, that because we didn't get to ask you for questions for this Q&A video, leave a comment on this video and we'll answer it in our upcoming
preparation videos.
Yes, between now and the end of April.
Yeah. So we're really excited. Can't wait. It's going to be great. You should subscribe to the channel to see that.
Yes, please do subscribe, and thank you to everybody who currently follows us, and thank you to our amazing patrons.
Yes, thank you to our amazing patrons. We didn't actually pick anybody to say thank you to, so I'm going to pick 2 from random.
Okay.
I want to say a huge thank you to Marcus Kavanagh and to Jen Carey. I mean, all of our patrons we can't live without, but like we just such a big thank you to you and to everybody. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And please do consider supporting us on Patreon if you like our content, if you like what we're doing.
Yeah. Oh, We are
Oh, yeah.
nominated for an award. We're going to the Irish Adventure of the Year Awards on the 29th of March, and between now and then it is possible to vote for the most inspiring adventurer. So I will leave a link in the description or in a pinned comment or something. If you want to go and vote for us, that would be really cool. Yeah.
Or if you're going to be there, give us a high five.
Yes.
Although a topical joke, probably not possible in like 2 weeks. Hashtag Brexit. Hashtag sad. I'm bringing back these hashtag jokes from 2011.